Good afternoon, one and all present here. I welcome you all to the online certificate course on data analysis for life sciences using R programming. Now, I request our most respected principal, sir, to welcome the participants. Sir, please.
Most respected General Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. Manjit Singh Nayyar, Dear Convener Dr. J. Jayanti, Dean Research Person of the Day, Dr. Vanathi, Head of the Department of Information Technology, Guru Nanak College. Host of this program, Dr. Mahendra Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Guru Nanak College. My dear participants, it gives me immense pleasure in welcoming all of you to this inaugural function of this online certificate course on data analysis for life sciences using R programming, organized by Guru Nanak Center for Research of Guru Nanak College, Chennai, from 14th October to 23rd October 2020. I am happy to know that more than 1,100 people have registered for this course, and there is a repeated request to enable the registration link from many participants, including people across all the states of India, abroad like China, South Korea, United Kingdom, Egypt, Iraq, Nigeria, Morocco, Ethiopia, Kenya, Algeria, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Philippines, to name few. I'm sure many of you will join me in congratulating Dr. J. Jayanti, convener of this online certificate course, and the Dean Research of GNCR for continuously organizing several useful and informative programs, especially during this pandemic and making lockdown a productive period. I wish to congratulate Dr. Vanathi, who herself willingly, without any hesitation, she accepted. She has done a lot of programs regarding that, combining, associating computer science into life sciences department, life sciences subjects. She has especially given a lot of lectures in GNCR itself. I wholeheartedly congratulate Dr. Vanathi also. And this is a team. Dr. J. Jayanti, Dr. Vanathi, and Dr. Mahendra Kumar. It's a team. Wherever you go, you can see them hosting the program, convening the program, and conducting many programs related to research. I am happy in welcoming all these three people and congratulating all three people for doing a wonderful job. Right from the announcement of lockdown, GNCR has been organizing a list of programs, and to name a few, with more emphasis on research are webinar on SAS programming in life sciences, workshop on discovering and learning the applications of statistics using MS Excel, certificate course on Python programming for life sciences, national webinar on tools for research enhancement, national webinar on potential avenues of research in Siddha medicine, national webinar on career opportunities in clinical research and pharmacovigilance, research development program on online platforms for peer interaction in research, national webinar on research in computer science and research careers in India, etc. I'm sure you will be definitely have a very fruitful and productive 10 days learning. I wish all of you to utilize the expertise from GNCR and to gain knowledge from this course. I once again welcome all the participants across the globe. Have a wonderful day and welcome to this wonderful evening to participate in this inaugural function of the course, refresher course or certificate course. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your warm words of welcome and encouragement. Now, I request Dr. J. Jayanti, Dean Research and convener of this online certificate course, to brief us about Guru Nanak Center for Research. Ma'am, please.
Very good afternoon to all the participants. Welcome to the 10 days online certificate course on data analysis for life sciences using R programming. We at the Guru Nanak Center for Research, Guru Nanak College, leave no stone unturned when it comes to reaching out to the researchers both at the national and the international level. We have received tremendous support for every one of our programs, be it the international conclave, workshops, webinars, conferences, or our certificate courses. We are extremely thankful to all the participants and expect the continued support for all our future activities. As we all know, that data analytics is a field of roaring opportunity and employability. It is important for the students and researchers of life sciences to equip themselves to tools which will help them in this process. R is a widely used programming language for biological data analysis. In the past, the center has conducted programs on SAS programming and Python for life sciences. With this certificate course, we expect that the students and researchers will be able to understand the applicability of the program in problem solving. As earlier told, the Guru Nanak Center for Research, which was commemorated on the 550th birth anniversary of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji in 2019, has been conducted various programs to cut across disciplines, to reach out to the researchers of various disciplines, and also to cause a lot of interaction between the researchers. We are very thankful to the management and the principal of our college for giving us an opportunity to reach out to the researchers at a national and an international level. Our next program will be an Industry Academia conclave on biotechnology. The details will be posted in our Telegram group. Please subscribe to our channel for the further notifications on the program. Thank you all. Happy learning.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, it gives me immense pleasure in introducing our resource person for this online certificate course on data analysis used for life sciences using R programming. Dr. J. VANATHI is the head and assistant professor in the Department of B.Sc IT, Guru Nanak College, Chennai. She has a rich experience in academics. She has 25 years of teaching experience in both arts and science and engineering colleges. She did her MCA from the well-reputed PSG College of Technology, her MPhil from Bharathidasan University, and PhD from University of Madras. She had obtained AS Bar 400 System Administration and Application Programming Certification course from TISL, IBM, and Tata Company. She had obtained Blockchain Architecture Design and Use Cases from NPTEL Online Certification course conducted by IIT Kharagpur and IBM in 2018. Her area of expertise are cloud computing, software engineering, information security, and RTBMS. Apart from teaching computer science to students at the college, she has the distinction of conducting interactive sessions and delivering lectures on various topics to various college students and faculty. During her career, she has also organized conferences both at national and international level. She has also participated and presented papers in national and international conferences. She has written many articles in leading journals. She is a registered life-term member in the Indian Science Congress Association. She is a member of Board of Studies, Department of BCA, MSc ITs, MSc IT in SDNB Vaishnav College for Women, and BCA department in the New College, Chennai. She is an active member of the Alumni Association of the Chennai chapter of PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore. She has guided MPhil in computer science for students at Bharathidasan University, Bharatiyar University, and Periyar University. She is a paper setter for various leading colleges in Tamil Nadu for computer science papers. Now we have Dr. J. VANATHI with us to enlighten us on the importance of R programming for life sciences. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome all the participants for this online course. First and foremost, I thank sincerely our General Secretary, Mr. Manjit Singh Nair ji, and our beloved Principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan sir, and our Dean Research, Dr. Jayanti ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to conduct this program. Thank you very much. I also thank the coordinator of this program, Dr. Mahendra Kumar sir, for hosting this show. Thank you, one and all. And now we will just get into this program. Good afternoon. I welcome you all for this online certification course.
Ma'am, please share your screen, ma'am.
are not visible. Welcome you all. I welcome you all for the course, online course, Data Analysis for Life Sciences using R. Okay. R programming. So for this next 10 days, we will be covering about R programming, the basis, and how it is going to be useful for life science students. And this is a symbol of R. Okay, so that's the reason that I just put this in. The symbol of R programming is this R. Okay. Now, before getting into R programming, as the title says that it is data analysis for life sciences. Okay, so you should know that how you biological students or life science students are going to get involved in this particular programming and how it is going to be useful for you, because you should not be thinking that those who know programming alone can do programming and not other students. It is not like that. Let us not have such sort of myth. It is anybody who have an idea, okay, of how to do an analysis, they can use this R programming as a tool. Now, in this 10 days of session, we are going to cover that how academicians, your statistical part, and then if you are going to do any research or anything else, how this R program, R tool is data analytical tool is going to be useful for you. Now, let us see that how it is going to be useful for you people as a life science students or life science research scholars or academicians, how you are going to utilize this particular concept. Okay, in the post-geometric area, the life science career aspirants must equip themselves with the tools and techniques for efficient storage, processing, and analysis of big omics data. Okay, you all must be knowing what is big omics, so you shouldn't think that I am doing some gimmicks. So all must be knowing about big omics. It is nothing that it is a branch of science informally as omics or various disciplines in biology whose names end with suffix omics such as genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, and glycomics. Okay, so R is one of the widely used popular programming language for biological data processing and analysis. So those who want to do data analysis concepts or want to use this data analytical tool, they can choose R language. Now I'll tell you that why you have to choose that, which we'll see in our subsequent slides. The knowledge of R will greatly help you to meet the everyday challenges posed by your research data, and it can save a lot of your time and efforts to deal with it. Now, attending this basic R for life sciences courses will enable you to learn basic concepts of R along with hands-on experience and solving all your biological problems. Okay, so why do I say that hands-on experience is that? I will be showing the IDE, okay, so integrated development editor, that RStudio, and I will also be running the programs in RStudio, and I will be telling that how it is going to work with that. Okay, it is not that purely it is going to be a theoretical section, and it is not just going to go with PPT. So whenever we are going to study the syntax and the commands and all and the programs, that I will be running in the RStudio IDE, and I will teach you that how to run your programs in RStudio. Okay. So this is how you are going to get yourself connected as a life science students in this R data analytical tool. Okay. Now you must be thinking that why we have to learn R. Okay. Now what's special about it? What are the features about it? The first thing is that it's an open source language. Now those who have attended the previous Python online certification course, they must be aware of this concept of open source language. Now, anything that is open source is that it is a freeware where you don't have to pay for it. Okay, it is easily download. You can download it from the website, and then you can just use it where you don't have to pay anything for that. So that's it, the open source language. So you can use R. You don't have to pay for it. Okay. Then it's a cross-platform compatible. Okay, cross-platform compatible is that you can work on Windows, you can work on Mac, you can work on Linux, in any operating system, any platform you can work on. Okay, so it suits, it works on all platforms. Okay, and then one of the main advantages that advanced statistical language. Okay, so this language R was developed mainly for statisticians. Okay, so you have all the advanced statistical features in there. So you will be feeling comfortable more than working with SPSS. Those who are working with SPSS and other platforms, they will find it more user friendly, and then it's very easy. You might be thinking, when you say that it is a programming, we don't have any basic programming concepts. How you are going to work with that? You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to write some lines and lines of code for any statistical programs. To write to work with the statistical programs. For everything, functions are available. You want to find a mean, you want to find a median, you want to find a correlation, chi-square test, feed test, and everything. Just think, you feed in your data within that function. Immediately you are going to get the result where you don't have to write lines and lines of code for it. Okay, so that's it. You have advanced statistical functions and all that stuff. So you have a set of data with you, and you know what are the commands. Immediately you can just work on it, and then you can get your output based on it. So that's very easy for you. Now, outstanding graphics. Okay, say anything that is that instead of reading your outputs in the reports and then deriving some information out of that, rather than that, when you just look into that, okay, when you just look into your visual part of it, it will be easy for you. Okay, it will be just easy for you to analyze things, because whatever we look in a visual format, we are able to analyze the data very quickly. So if the graphs part of it, it is very outstanding, and then visual part of it, it's very easy for you to analyze the data by seeing visually. So graphical portion of it, it is supporting a lot. And it relates to other languages also. Okay, so those who have a basic idea of the previous languages, any languages that you work with that, then it's very easy for you, the syntax and other parts of it. And you can also embed the codes of the other languages like C, C++, whatever the language, HTML script, whatever you have it, you can embed it into this, and then you just can work on it. Vast community. Okay, since it is an open source language, okay, it is a free source code. Anybody can attach it. Anybody can write their own function, their code, and then they can just attach it with that. So it has got a vast community, and it's just keep on evolving. A lot of functions are, and a lot of packages are being developed, and then it is getting integrated into this particular R language. Support extensions. You have a lot of extension facilities are there, and it is just supporting. Extremely comprehensive. That's very easy for you, and flexible and fun. Okay, so any language, only if it is flexible and if it is interesting, we will go for to do with that. So these are the things that why we have to learn R. Okay. Now, those who have attended my previous webinar and my previous online session, they must be knowing why I'm trying to connect this particular slide based on this. Okay, so my first online webinar for GNCR is at SAS. Okay, so a statistical as a software, this is what I just gave them as a webinar. So in this, actually, this is also one of the best tool for all statistical applications. Okay, but only thing that is a disadvantage, or only thing that is not everybody can utilize it, is that it is a proprietary software. Okay, so that's what this comparison why I'm just giving is that I did a webinar on SAS for GNCR. I did an online course for GNCR on Python. Now we are just moving to R. Okay, why this is that is that first, when in GNCR research center, when Dr. Jayanti ma'am and the coordinator Mahendra Kumar sir, when they approached me for life science students to give them an idea about R, they first approached me only with R. Now that time I told them that let us just give them first an idea about how this particular statistical portions is being involved in life sciences. So first thing I told them, let us not jump directly into R without having no programming language. So let us just go step by step. So initially I told them I will start with a webinar on SAS, statistical as a software as a statistics. Then that's what I just did this webinar on SARS on in the month of April, I remember. So that's what I'm just giving the differences, those who attended all my previous two programs, and now we are doing it in R. So everything has its more advantages and its disadvantages. So as it in SAS is compared to R, SAS, it also has got all the statistical functionalities, and most of the places it is being used as a widely used data analytical tool. But only disadvantage is that it is a proprietary software. The meaning is that you have to pay for it and then you have to buy it. You cannot use a full version of that. Okay. So when students have to use it, in my webinar itself, I just made a mention that only they have a very limited version of that. Not the entire version they can use it. They have to pay for it. Okay, so that's a limitation that we have it in SAS. Now, the next we moved on to Python. Okay. Immediately after that, Dr. Jayanti ma'am again calls me that, ma'am, why don't we start with the programming language? Can we go with R? At that time, again, I told her that, ma'am, let us give them a basis of what is program, and then we can move to R, so that when we start taking R, that will be easy for them. So probably, I think in the month of July, we did a online certification course on Python, where in that all the participants were given an idea about what is Python, and Python is also another data analytical tool, the most widely used data analytical tool. And then there we just taught them the syntax and the commands and how to do programming in Python. And in one session, Dr. Mahendra Kumar sir related with BioPython, and that was how we took the session. Okay, so those who attended the session and those who have some programming knowledge, now they will find it very easy when we are now going to start with R, because now they have the basis of what is programming and what are the syntax and the commands. What we have studied mostly in Python only, we are just now going to apply in R. So syntax portion of it, you don't have to worry about it. Already people have an idea in Python and how to work with programming knowledge, languages, and the basics of programming knowledges. Since most of you are acquired in Python, it's going to be easy for you. And those who are not attended also don't have to worry about it. In R, we are not going to write hundreds and thousands of lines of code. It is just all functions. Okay. So you just remember your functions and you put inside that whatever the arguments that is required. That's enough. You get your output of that. Okay. So you don't have to write so many lines of code. You don't have to think, okay, what my logic has to be there, how I have to go to derive out of that. So statistical, the research part of it, only thing you just have to know what is the statistical calculations that you require. Okay, so that command alone, if you remember, that also you don't have to worry about it. If you want to find the mean, the function name is mean. If you want to find the median, the function name is median. Okay, so that is also what we have been doing in statistics, the same name has been kept. So that's quite easy for you. So that's the reason I just gave you the differences between the SAS, the Python, and the R. Okay, so when you take it SAS, as I told you, proprietary software, but it has got all the statistics functionalities. So when you go into Python, the only advantage of SAS over Python is that it is an open source. Meaning is that, as I told you, that anybody can download it. It is free. You could just work on it. But you should have a basics of programming knowledge. If it is there, it will be easy for you to work on it. Okay, and Python also gives analytical and scientific computing abilities, and it has got a lot of libraries which is helping for data analytical portion of it. The next portion that will come is R. Okay, so the first release of R was in 1993, and as I told you, it is also open source and it is free. Now, those who are academicians and those who are working on statistical portion of it, they will find R as a very interesting and a very useful tool for them compared to these two, because the main advantage of that is that one is R is an open source, the second one it is a statistical part of it. Okay, so that's what we are going to see. So that's the reason I just gave this comparison. So those who attended my previous sessions, they will be knowing the difference between that. Okay. Okay, now we are just going to see just the history of R. Any language that we study, we should know the basics and the history of that thing. So that's what just I have given it in this slide. Now R, the basics of R, where it started. Initially, R took its origin from a language called S. Okay, so that is a statistical. S stands for statistics. That's a statistical language. So initially it was the language called S, but it had its own limitations. Okay, not much functions was there. So that time they just two persons. Okay, two persons called Ross Ika and Robert Gentleman. So the first one who is wearing the specs, I'm just keeping my pointer there. His name is Robert Gentleman. Okay, the below figure, this person, image where I'm just keeping my thing, is called Ross Ika. These were the two gentlemen, okay, scientists who developed this language called R. Okay, so they took all the inputs and all these things from their previous language called S language. From S, R derived. So that's what I just given this slide here. Okay, so 30 years ago, okay, for research they started it, and now they are now applying to all high-tech industry. They started applying this data analytical tool on R. Okay, now where it was being created is that at Auckland, New Zealand. Where in their lab they started doing the research, and then they created this R language from there. Okay, so it was created by Ross Ika and Robert Gentleman, and the first version of R was released in 1995, the month of March. Okay, now why R? Okay, why? Because is that the two persons who have developed, Ross Ika and Robert Gentleman, both their first letter starts with R. So that's the reason they named this language as R. Okay, so that's a reason, not anything special about it. Both their names, since it started with the first letter as R, they thought that they will name it as R. So that's what named after the first letter of the founders. Now, R is the top Google search for advanced analytical software. Okay, so Google is using this particular data analytical tool. Not only Google, many of the companies have been using this for data analytical tool. They are using this R. Okay, then now it is being used by more than 2 million people worldwide. It has been used, and it is the most used data science language after SQL, that is software structured query language. Okay, so after that, it is the most used data science language. It's just an history about R. Okay. Now, next is features of R. Okay, now as such the features of R is that, which we already saw that. Okay, so it's fast calculation. Now your R editor, you can use it as a calculator. Okay, just how we just do calculations, like I just put 5 plus 4, immediately I'm going to get the answer 9 in my calculator. The same way I can just do it in my R editor, where I don't have to write any piece of program, or I don't have to assign a variable to that, then I have to add that variable, then I have to print the variable. Like that, I don't have to do any language or any statements. I don't have to do that. Just like a calculator, I can use my editor. So that's it, fast calculations, whatever I wanted, I just can do that. And I already told you, cross-platform support. It supports all operating systems and extremely compatible. Okay, because compatibility is there, you can run in all platforms, you can run, and every time by the vast community of people, it has been, all the functions have been created, and then they are just integrating it along with this particular R programming. And it's open source, so it's easy for anybody to access it and then use it, and anybody can write their own code and then they can attach it to the community. Okay, and white packages. This is one of the special features of R. Lot of packages are there, and which has got lot of data sets with that. Okay, so we can just work on all these things. Okay, inbuilt data sets, everything is there, where we can just work and then see on that. And large standard library. So with the library functions are available, as I said, like mathematical functions, statistical functions, string function, graphical functions. Lot of functions are available. We don't have to write any code for that. Okay, so just like that, we can just use that library, take that functions, we can put it in our program, and then we can just utilize it. Okay, so we don't have to worry about anything. So that's about our thing. So it's a programming language and software environment. Mainly it is for statistical analysis, graphics representation and reporting. So it's well developed one. It's simple, effective programming, And it has got all the features like other languages, conditional statements, looping statements, that is iteration statements, user-defined recursive functions, input-output facilities, and it has got a very effective data handling and storage facility. That's the main advantage of this particular language. And it has got a suite of operators for calculations on various data structures like arrays, lists, vectors, and matrices. It can just work on anything else. And provides a large, coherent, and integrated collection of tools for data analysis. So this is the area where we will be looking into that, how we are going to work on this data analysis portion of it. And it has got a graphical facility. So this is what we require. Visualization is more important when we are interpreting the results. Okay, so because it gives a better communication for us, and then good reasoning when you see in a visual form rather than reading the reports, and display either directly at the computer or printing at the papers. Okay, so these are the features of R. Now, so these are the basic things. Now, we have to work on R. Okay, so when you have to work on R, as I said, it is an open source software. So when you want to download it, so now we have to see that where to go and how to download the R Studio and R editor. Okay, so the primary R system is available from the Comprehensive R Network. So that's what it is called, CRN. C stands for Comprehensive. So Comprehensive R Archive Network. Okay, so that's what it's called, CRAN. In this CRAN, it has got many add-on packages where it is used to extend the functionality of the R. Okay, so it has got a lot of add-on packages. People keep on adding it. As I said, it is a vast community and there are people who have been working on it, and then they are integrating their packages, their functions, and all that stuff. So it has got a lot of add-on packages. The base R system that you download from the CRAN, it could be in any of these platforms like Linux, Windows, and Mac source code. Okay, in any of the platforms you can just do that. Okay, it is not that it works on only one particular OS, it can work on any of the OS. So whichever OS that you have on your desktop, you can just work on that. Now R functionality, it's divided into number of packages. So a lot of packages are there, as I told you that. A lot of inbuilt packages are there. You just have to include all these packages and then you can work on the data sets. The base R system, it contains, among other things, the base package which is required to run R and contains the most fundamental functions, which we'll now see one by one. Okay. Now, before getting into that, any language has its own advantages and disadvantages. So these are the few things. Advantages: open source data wrangling, that is, you are handling it is lot of packages, array of packages. You have a quality plotting and graphing, that is visualization part of it. And it is platform independent, on any OS I can just work on it. You have a machine learning operations. In data science we have been using R, and it is continuously growing because people are keeping on adding packages and functions, and all this is the community is working on it because it is open source software. So it is continuously growing. Okay. Disadvantages, they say it is a weak origin because it started with from S. Okay. And then from there they took all the base and then they started in that. Okay. And in data handling also they have its slight thing, because compared to Python, this is data handling, it has its own limited features. Basic security, slight complicated language. Why complicated language is that those who are new to programming languages cannot just jump into R immediately. They have to have a basic knowledge of some programming language and then they can come into that. So that's the reason they call it as complicated language. And compared to Python, the speed is lesser speed. Okay, that is in calculation part of it. So these are the pros and cons of R. Okay. Now we are just going to see that how to download R Studio and R Editor in your desktop. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you, I've already downloaded, and then I'm just going to show you the screen by screen shot, okay, which I have done it in my thing, and this PPT will also be shared to you. So if those who have your systems at home, you can just download it, and then from next class onwards, when I'm just going with the syntax, of the language, you can just work on your system and then you can just see it. Okay, so now I'm just showing that how to download it and how your screen will look like. The screenshots is being now displayed. Okay, now to download the R and editor and the R Studio, now first we have to go for R. Okay, so to go for R, just type rproject.org. Okay, so you will get this particular screen, www.rproject.org. Okay, so in that you click this particular R project for statistical computing. Okay, now click that. Now next you will get this particular screen. Okay, so you will get that R project for statistical computing, where you will get getting started. Okay, now in this getting started, you go to this CRN mirror. Okay, you go and then click this one, the CRN mirror. Okay, now you are getting this. You will get this particular screen. Okay, now so you belong to which particular country? If your country is being listed in this particular thing, you can go and click that. If not, you can go and click this cloud, that is https://cloud.rproject.org. Okay, so you can just go and then click it. This one, the first one. Otherwise, if your country is there, you can just click that one. Okay, after that, the next screen, after clicking this cloud, that is clouds.rproject.org, the next screen you will get this one. Okay, the comprehensive R archive network will be your next screen. Now, you have to now decide what is your operating system, whether it is a Linux or whether it is a Mac OS or it is Windows. So whichever OS you have in your system that you are going to download this particular R editor, then you can decide that one. So the most popularly, I think most of you will be having Windows. So if you are going to work on Windows, download R for Windows. Okay, just go for download R for Windows. Click it. If it is for Linux, you can just with Linux. So that's up to you. Basically, how you are going to work on your OS, you can just click whichever thing you wanted. The next screen will be this one. Now, I have selected R for Windows. So I got this particular screen. Okay, so it will differ for whichever operating system that you are taking. This particular screen, you will get that one, R for OS, R for Linux or something else. Okay, now after this, you are going to now install R for the first time. Okay, so for that, what you are going to do is that now go to this base. Okay, so here, so this one, keep it here. So now this one, you are going to click it. That is, you are going to install R for the first time. Okay, after clicking that, okay, now it will come to this particular screen. Okay, now here you can take the version of it. Okay, so whichever version that it has been. Now the latest version is 4.0.3. That is in October it has come. Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, so download R 4. This is the version which I just went for that. So you can take whichever version you wanted. So this is download R 4. Where you have to click it. Okay, once you click the download, now you will get this particular symbol. Okay, so this particular symbol you will get it. Okay, now you have got it. Now the next one, select the language for use. So naturally we'll be going with English. Then after that it will say that select R for Windows. Okay, so whichever version we have downloaded, that version symbol it will show you. Okay, then you press next. Okay, then here you have to choose whichever directory that you want to store your particular thing. Then you go for thing next. Then you can press next. All these things you don't have to worry about it. Just go with next. Okay, and then you can put it in the start menu folder if you want it. In the start menu folder, you just mention R, whichever you want it. Then you press next. Okay, then any additional task you want it. All these things by default it can be there where you don't have to worry about all these things. Put your next. So it is now started installing. Okay, it is just installing all those things. And then once it is over, it is then 3.4.3. So now see, this is a version which we are taking, but my version is 4.2. After that I have changed it. So it was an earlier version I was using. So it is showing. You don't have to worry about it. Whichever version that you are taken it, that version only it will come. Once it is over, you just press finish. Okay. So now we have downloaded R. Okay. So once we have downloaded R, I'll just show you how it is working. Okay. 1 second. Okay, this is our studio. I'm sorry. This is our studio, which we will have a show it later. Okay. Okay. So now you will get it like that. Once you click it, you will get it like this. So now this is your editor. Okay. Once that finish is over, you will get this particular thing. Okay. So now, as I told you, this you can use it as a calculator or as a programming thing. Okay. So whichever way you want it, you can use it. So for example, as I told you how to use it as a calculator. Okay. See now here, I'm just using 5 plus 5. Okay. See here, 10. See, you have not written any piece of code. You have not written any syntax. Okay. Nothing. Okay. We have not learned any language syntax or any language alphabets or nothing in R. We have not even entered into R, but we are just able to do that as a calculator. Okay, so you can use any sort of things. Supposing I want to print something. Okay, for example, a print. Okay. Okay. Now by just using the print anything, you know that it is going to display something on your console. Okay. Now see here. Welcome to our language. Okay, so this is how you can just work on it. Okay, this is our console. Okay, this is our console. Now, once you finish and then you open it, this is how it will see that, and you can start working on this editor like this. Okay, so this is one thing which I just want to show you. Let us get back to the. Okay, so this is how the editor is there. Okay, now next we are going to see RStudio Professional. Now you may be just asking me, why we just have to download both the things. Now as it says that it is professional, so for working with your programs or packages or your projects and all these things, that our editor will not support you much. Okay, so it is good that for even though you are a novice, you are a person who are first working on programming language, always it is better that you go with RStudio. So you download RStudio also and then you keep it. So it will be very easy for you and user friendly when you are working with RStudio, because it is an IDE. Okay, it is an integrated development environment where it will be very easy for you to work with that than with that R thing. But they both go hand in hand only. That console will also be there inside your RStudio, but RStudio you have got a lot of features and it is very user friendly. So it is better that you download RStudio and you work on RStudio for your programs. Okay, so now we are going to see that how to download RStudio. Okay, now to download RStudio, so you go and then type rstudio.com. Okay, so you will get this particular screen. Okay, and then it is just going to ask you whether it is a desktop or a server. Okay, now we are going to work only on a desktop. So you just put RStudio desktop. Okay, and then it will just show you this one, whether it is a free version, and there are few things where they get for a studio desktop as well as server. There are some paid versions also. Some slightly few features they will give it for your paid versions. Okay, but even in open source itself, we have been able to cover most of the features. So we are going to take free. Okay, so RStudio desktop, select free and then press download. Okay, then you can go and then select this installer, the first one, Windows version. You can just go and then you can select it and then you can just do that. Okay, then you will get this. Welcome to RStudio setup. This one. The same thing like our editor. the same thing. This is next we will be going. See, again, it will ask you the destination folder where you want to store it. Okay, by default, it will show you. If you want, you can just change it. Then press next. Okay, then you can choose the start menu folder. Okay, all these things by default, it will come. You can just give install. Okay, once you just give install, you'll be seeing the status bar going like this. Okay, and then your R studio setup will complete. Okay, so it will just go like this, then give finish. And then you will get your screen like this. Okay, now see, this is the screen. This is the R Studio. This R Studio will have 4 compartments like this. Okay, so we will be seeing that what are the 4 compartments and how we are going to work on the 4 compartments. Okay. Okay. Now you see the 4 compartments that we have in R Studio. Okay, so the first one on your left, on the top, is called R Script Editor. Okay, so whenever you want to write your programs on R, okay, you want to write your programs, you want to save your programs, or your saved programs, you want to take it and then work on it, and all this stuff, you can do that with this R Script Editor. In this editor, you can do all your programs, okay, your packages or your projects, everything you can just work on this. Okay, now on your left hand side, the below one, okay, that is called R Console. Okay, in this R Console, it is equivalent to that R Editor which I showed you. Okay, so here you can type all these things, your programs, not the programs. I'm saying that here you don't have to go and then save your things. You can just work it as a editor where you can give all your calculations. You want to do some printing, anything else, you can do that in your R Console. Okay, as I told you, like a calculator or anything, you can do all your functions here. So this is R Console. And then on your right hand side top, okay, it is called Environment History. Now what is Environment History is that whatever the variables that you have been using it, or the data that is using in your script editor or your console, that will be reflected on your environment history. Okay, so all those variables that you're using it here, that will be shown there, where you can, if you want it, you can save it and then you can keep it, or if you don't want it, you can also clean the data. That is up to you. Okay, so when you just save your data and keep it, in later part, when you want to use the same data, you can just take that from that file and then you can reutilize it. Okay, that's possible. Otherwise, if you feel you don't have to waste your memory space, you just can clean the data. Okay, or erase your data. That's possible. So that's environment history part of it. Okay, environment and history is there. Okay, so in that environment, when you click the environment, all the data that you are now currently using will be just displayed there, and history portion of it, the previous data that you have saved it, you can just look into that. Okay, and you can also import your data set. That is also possible. See, this is here. The data set that is already there in your system, or you want to import it from external drives or something else, you can do that with the import data set. You can do it here. Okay. Now, here, on your right hand side, the bottom portion of it, here you have files, you have plots, you have packages, you have help and viewer. Okay. So now your files is that whatever the files that you have it in your system, or the downloaded files in your directory, all those things, you can just have a look onto that. The plots, okay, this is where the visualization part of it. So whenever you want to see your data, after your data analysis, you want to see in a visual part of it, okay, that is being shown only in this particular plots console. And then packages, what are the packages that is there? You can list out and then see the packages. Whichever packages you wanted, you can install and then you can load it and then you can use it in your programs. Okay, so you can create your own packages, or there are a lot of existing packages are also there. So whichever you want it, you can just do that. First you have to install the package, then you have to load the package, and then you have to, and then you have to use the package. Okay, and then help. So whenever any commands you want to know about the particular commands, you can just type that in the help, and then you can type in the console, and then if you put help, it will give you the description of that particular command. Okay, now I will show you my R Studio and then how it is working. We will just look at it. We will have the hands-on experience of that. See, okay, this is R Studio. that I have downloaded in my thing. The same thing as I said you, this is editor. Okay, this one is the editor. Okay, and this one is the environment history, and this one is the console. Okay, and this one is the plots, packages, help, and viewer. Okay, now here you see in my console. Okay, now here I'm giving A is equal to 5. Okay, I'm just pressing enter. Now can you see in the environment, the variable A is being set the value 5. It is just reflected here. You could just see it here. Okay, can you just see it here? It has been reflected here. So whatever the variables or with the values associated I'm just giving here, that will be reflected there in my environment. Okay, now here you see I'm just giving print hello. Okay, print is a function to display something. Okay, so it is just printing it here hello. Okay, I am not assigned to any variable or any thing, so it is not now showing in my environment. So supposing I want to show that particular value in my environment, okay, I can just give it like this. Can you now just see the difference? Okay, now I assign the value, a string, to a particular variable called s. So the value that I have assigned is a called hello, that I have given is hello. It is a string. Okay, anything that you give within double quotes, okay, that's a string. It treats as a string. Okay, so strings you have to give it as within double quotes. Numerical values you don't have to give it in double quotes. Just can assign the value to it. Okay, so that's a difference. So not only integer values, I can give any decimal values also. For example, I can just give b is equal to 10.5 and I just press enter. See now here it is assigned the value b. Now you could see one thing here, whatever the values that I am just giving along with the variables, it is just started, okay, it is sorting that in the alphabetical order based on the alphabetical order of the alphabets, and then it is just giving A, B, and S. Okay, you could just see the difference there. Okay, so not only the values, integer value, decimal value, or string, you can also give logical value like true, false. Okay, now for example, see here, I just can give it like this, true. Okay, true is equal to. Now I can put it as B. Okay. Now you must be thinking that I'm doing it in a reverse way. Okay. As far as R is concerned, I can give A is equal to 5, or I can also give 5 is equal to A. Both the things it accepts it. Okay. It could be RHS to LHS or LHS to RHS. Both things it is giving. Now true, I am assigning to a variable called D. Okay. Now for example, I am just pressing enter. Now can you see here? It is taking the value D is equal to true. Okay, so logical value we want to give it either it is true or false. Okay, that should be in capitals. Okay, true and false has to be in capitals because there is a difference between, okay, for example, I give it like this, true to E. Okay, now it says that the object error, it is not found because I have not given it properly. Now, for example, I just have to give it like this. I can just give it like this. Now, D. Again, it says it is an error. Why? Because is that now this true is not, okay, it is not a logical value because R is a case sensitive language, meaning is that it treats uppercase and lowercase letters differently. Okay, so that true and this true is not correct. Okay, so if I just have to give it lowercase letters, I just have to give true D. Now I just give, see here, true to D. Okay. Now I just give this print of D. Sorry, I'm just getting an error once again. Okay. getting any. Excuse me. Control L. To clear my data in my console, I just have to give Control L. Okay. So whenever any data, I have too many data that I work with that. Now I want to clear my console means I can give console, that is Control L. Okay. Now in this script editor, how to do the same thing is that, for example, I have A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 6. Okay. Now I have C is equal to A plus B. Okay. Then I have print C. Okay. Now I am writing this as a code. Okay. So as a piece of code, I can just write it and then I have to execute it. Okay. So this is editor and this one is the bottom portion of it is a console. There I can just write it and then I can use it as I said, as an editor, and immediately I will get the output. But when I am using it in an editor here, I can save it by using this thing, R script. Okay, I can just save my file and then I can again take my file and then I can work on my file, which we will be seeing in the other next sessions. But just to show you how it is working, I just showed you. Okay, so this is called the first one on the left hand side is the editor. Okay, and on the top of the right hand side, that is the environment where you can see all the variables that we are working on it. And on the left hand side bottom portion of my screen is called the console, where I can work it as an editor or my output will be displayed on that. And on my right hand side, the bottom of it, it is for files, plots, packages, and my help portion of it. Okay, so this is how the RStudio will be there. So it is quite user friendly for you when you download RStudio and when we work on RStudio rather than using just R editor alone. Okay. So this is how it will be there, and which we saw in the RStudio of my version, which was I downloaded in my thing. Okay. So now, so today's session, I have just given you the basics of it. Okay, I just told you what is R, why you have to learn R. Okay, and then the advantages and disadvantages are, and then we saw the comparison between SAS, Python, and R, and I told you that how to download R and how to download RStudio, and I showed you how to work with simple commands in R editor as well as in RStudio, and I told you that I explained to you that why RStudio is better than R with a few examples. We saw that. Okay, so today's session we have the basics of that. So those who have your laptops or your system at home, you can download it and then you can work and then see it before you come for the next session. And in tomorrow's class, we will start with the R programming language, basics of R programming language. Right from the basics, we will start it. Okay, and then we will further go in the further sessions. We will continue with the further sessions. So today's session, this is what I have planned to cover it. And anything you would like to ask me, any questions are there, that could be posted in the chat box.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dear participants, we request you to kindly post your doubts and any questions to the resource person in the chat box, which will be answered by the resource person. Ma'am, I think they are clear with the introductory class, ma'am. Maybe we can expect sessions from tomorrow onwards.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you very much, participants, for listening to the session. Tomorrow's session, we'll start with the basics of R.
So, dear participants, ma'am, one question one person has asked, there are different versions of R. How different is the working modality?
So it is better that if your system is supporting the latest version, you can download the latest version and then work on it.
Okay.
You will get all the features in that.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Dear participants, the YouTube link for day 2 session is posted in the chat box. So kindly, and the same has been sent to you by email also. So kindly join us tomorrow at 2:30 for the day 2 of the online certificate course on data analysis for life sciences using R programming. We shall have the hands-on training from tomorrow. Thank you very much.
So there is one question